That's bad.
Alright, what's up guys? We finally got some parts for the Fiero. Our Holly system showed up yesterday, or the day before, whenever. I don't know, time is an illusion. This should be the intake and water pump and maybe some other stuff for the engine. Exhaust elbows, mufflers, nothing real crazy there. I should move my torch before it gets smashed and explodes. So yeah, there is a lot that we can get done today. Water pump. Here is intake. Nice. Okay. Ah, shoot. That just did a number on me. Alright, got the intake all unwrapped. Throttle body's here. Probably not going to use that. Probably going to switch to a normal LS1 style. Map sensor. Looks like it's all intact. Don't know why the rails are unbolted, but that's alright. Planning on reusing the stock injectors. All that looks chill. So, I need to get an adapter plate for this, for the LS1 throttle body. We'll just go straight down to our fuel filter regulator. Just one line up to the intake. Perfect, nice, simple, clean. Here is our LS4 water pump. Not too bad. Lighter than I was expecting. This is the first one I've handled in person. Lighter than I was expecting. Here is where it bolts to the block. So here's our timing cover. You can see kind of how it swoops over there. It's gonna be kind of like that. So need to get this cleaned up. I'll splash some paint on it to match the motor. That could be a little crunchy. We'll replace that before we get it in there, because that is not something I'd want to do in the car. There's one of the outlets. There is thermostat housing back there. Obviously you can see where it bolts to the heads. Intake we could get on the motor, that way top end's all sealed up. Not have to worry about that. I do need to find, I should have a couple little bolts for the rails here. It almost would have been nice if they'd grabbed the cover for it too. Alright, where do we want to start? I guess start with cleaning up the water pump, huh? So we can get some paint on that and let that dry. Luckily, it is now warm enough out for me to actually spray stuff off here. So I'm just going to coat it with some oven cleaner. This stuff works wonders. And then I'll bust out the power washer. I've used a lot of different actual like engine cleaners, simple green, purple power, or whatever it is. It's hard to beat oven cleaner. This stuff is just so toxic and terrible, you don't want to breathe it, but it cleans so well. So I'm going to let that soak, then I'll get it sprayed off. And then while that is soaking, we've got one of the stars of the show here, the Terminator X Max, excuse me. Main harness, power harness, actually this one is transmission harness, isn't it? The one plug liquid. Here's the main power harness, oxygen sensor adapter, injector harness, ECUs in this box, thing for the screen, wideband, need to order one of those for the skylight, inputs, outputs. Oh, actually I need, this way I don't forget it, I'm going to put this in now, because if I don't put it in now I will forget it, and then I'll be like, son of a gun. And you guys don't need that kind of language. You know, I don't know why Pontiac decided to put the trunk right here where they knew I was going to be putting this LS4 oxygen sensor. I don't know why they decided to do that. Seems like such an oversight on their part. I mean, they knew that in like 25 years, well, in this case probably about 20 years, they were going to make great engines that people would want to put in all of their cars. So why did they do that? Stupid. Actually, let me move this out of the way. We'll get the duct tape off the intake runners, intake ports, and we'll get the manifold on. Man, this duct tape just does not want to come off. Jesus. I'm gonna have to, I don't know. I'm gonna turn the camera off before I start cussing a bunch, get demonetized. Well, I guess nature decided they wanted to power wash it instead. So, we'll let that thing marinate a little bit longer. I'm over here struggling with this dang duct tape. I got 6 of them off, but man, they adhered. They are stuck. Alright, got the rails bolted on, which is perfect because they make the best handles, kind of like pigtails, you know what I'm saying? Something is unhappy over in this corner. Everything over here is looking good now. Yeah, if you were worried about it being too tight, this is just one finger right now. I was barely on that trigger. This one just doesn't... Oh, because it has like a knurl in it or something. Alright, got the injector plugs off that, so we can get the new injector harness sat on it, because that won't be in the way when we are putting it back up in the car. And it's easy enough to do now. So here's 2. Come on, 2. Come on, 2. You can do this. There we go. I don't like forcing plugs together, because that's how something bends or snaps, or you just don't have a good time. Boom, boom, locked. Pop it, lock it, drop it, shut them down, open up, shop it. Okay, do we have enough distance here to make this look good? Yeah. Maybe. Maybe. It'll be close, though. Maybe we'll tuck you kind of up under here. I don't know what the camera was pointing at, but we might be able to tuck you up under here. Alright, that's not too bad. Can I safely run you under that? Or do I need you to be like over here one way or another? Probably gonna need that, huh? Like, even though there's a heat shield, if they drive it for a while, this will eventually get warm. Alright, so that's something we'll have to play with once we get the car more together. I can probably get that thing sprayed off and start painting that. I think we'll get some coil packs sat on this. I need to get plugs in it too, because the back side might not be too bad, the front side might suck. Alright, it's the next day. I don't know where I left off, but got this thing all cleaned up, painted, paint's dry, so we'll get that thrown on here in a second. I might have to cut this off. I don't know if I'll have to, but but I might do that just to clean it up. Unless it clears by a mile, and then I'll probably just leave it alone. Let's see where it's gonna land, because that would be roughly right in here, which it might. It might. So yeah, we'll get that thrown on here in a second. I got the water pump bolts dug out. A few other little things showed up. Somewhere around here, I've got some water pump gaskets. I gotta find those. I mean, for mock-up right now, it doesn't matter, but we'll get the water pump on and start figuring out something for the alternator bracket. We're using the stock LS4 alternator. And then we have to figure out how we want to run the belt and pulleys and everything. Because we're not going to use the one over here. It'll be belt up here, little tensioner, little idler around the water pump, around the alternator, blah, blah, blah. We just need enough to make everything spin. So, let me get that on. We'll start figuring that out. You know, it's actually pretty amusing how light this whole deal is. A little awkward, but still pretty light. That'll need some modifying or something. Yeah, see, this deal could get cut off right now, which is why I wasn't super concerned with taping this one off. You have to figure out how to do some sort of tensioner here, I think. Or maybe trim this out and move this over to this section. Because otherwise, if we just wrapped around it like this, the water pump will be spinning backwards. It has to be on the outside of the belt. As long as this is on the outside of the belt, then we're pretty much good. But yeah, I think I could trim this off and get it out of the way. Yeah, and then the alternator is going to be down here in this opening, which is normally where the air conditioning rides, the AC pump. Alright, well, first up, let's grab the alternator and start getting that lined up. Can't really use a straight edge off of this because this has like a 1/2-inch lip. I think that box had another pulley for there. Yeah, these both feel good. Alright, so I'm going to get this changed. Probably pull this one off. And get the alternator in place and see what I can come up with. So we're probably going to do something off of this bracket, or like that hole, or this hole, or something. Alright, so switch that one out for a good one that was in the box. Pulled that one off. Not going to run it. And here you can see why we need to do something about this one. Once I pull these tight. A little too close there. There might... See, and then the problem is, like, it's so close in there, too. Just worried, because I don't know how much meat there is on this, if we have to, like, clearance that for whatever reason. These ribs and all that stuff we can get out of here. Could put, like, a swing type tensioner there and just hard mount the alternator. I might have one of those still somewhere. Let me go look for that. Alright, so what I'm thinking right now is I can make a bracket that moves this over like an inch. Should be plenty to clear this and not get into that. And standing here thinking about it, I don't see any world where this doesn't have to get out of the way. Unless somehow I could get a water pump with the vanes the opposite direction so that it could be on the inside of the belt, which would be such a dream. So I'm going to clearance this, try and clean it up decent, splash a little bit of paint on it, and then I'm thinking I can use this pretty thick piece that I've got here, cut that out so that it sits flat against this, but like over that circle. Calm down, Pope. Something like that. And then I can get a bolt and washer on this to hold it down. I might have to do something about this, unless I can bolt it from the back side maybe? I might be able to do that actually. Because if I bolt it from the back side, that takes care of my spacing issue. I could put something along it here so that it can't, you know, go into it. Like it can't rotate. I think that's our plan. I just have to make sure that the back side of this keeps it. I mean, I could always put some twist in this, and this thing, I mean, this is never going to bend on this. Alright, so I found a manual tensioner on my shelf, and it actually looks like it's going to work pretty dang perfect. The belt stays nice and clear of everything. There's one small section that I have to clearance. So I'm going to take it apart and cut it up and weld the section that the pulley bolts to. That way the spacing is right, because the spacing looked perfect. I put a straight edge on there, and it seemed to line up with all the pulleys really good. I even put one on the other side, like, to see if it's like slightly twisted, and it seemed to catch them all dang near perfect. So this is like best case scenario. So I'm going to cut this up so that it's not super blocky. I'll probably like just use this triangle here. And then I'm going to cut this section out so that we just have this, and I'll weld that where it needs to go. And then we should have our tensioner in the right spot. Alright, while the new tensioner bracket is drying over there, I'm lining up the alternator and coming up with, or trying to come up with, a solution for this thing. Now I could go steal the brackets off the other Fiero, but I think that moves it out here too far. Alright, it took a little bit, but I finally figured out something that I'm pretty sure is going to work. Kind of ugly, but they seem to put the alternator where it needs to go. So I'm going to wait for them to cool off because I just finished welding the heck out of them. Now I'll get them painted, thrown on here, and hopefully the accessory drive is all done. Still need to grind this out and clearance this for the belt because it just barely rubbed. And changing the belt on this thing would be such a pain in the ass. So let's try to give it as much life as we can, right? And with those brackets, we should be able to adjust, tension it with the alternator. Hopefully. Hopefully. If not, then I wasted a few hours. All right, alternator mount is done, but I still need to dial in the spacing a little bit, just get it a little bit better. But this is how we're looking. So where it actually mounts to the block, I've got some pretty thick, like 1/4-inch plate. It's pretty damn rigid, so that shouldn't go anywhere. I need to get a belt. I just have it clamped right now. But like I said, I need to dial in the spacing. I think this and the tensioner here need to come forward a little bit. I did clearance all this to where it just barely clears where it's at now. So once I do pull it forward, I think it needs to go like at most a 1/16th. You know, but like I said, it's to where everything should ride happy now. But I think I could just get it a little bit more centered up on this and on the water pump because they're a little closer to the back side, especially over here. So if I bring them forward just a skosh, then should be a little bit happier. So happy with how that's turning out. Pretty close to being able to put this thing back in the car for final. All right, serpentine belt is on the way, 62.5 inches, got that ordered. I need to pull the water pump back off, put the gaskets on. I think I might have to get the crank sensor started because I think when it's in the car, I don't know if there's any way I'm gonna be able to get that thing. Well, I might be able to, but I'm probably gonna have to. No, I might be able to reach that. God, the corner of that block right there is so sharp. But yeah, I might be able to. Also, I need to do the shift bracket. So all of that is probably stuff that I will get taken care of in the next video. I also need to get a dipstick for the transmission. Still a handful of things to do before we can get this thing permanently back up in the car, hopefully to not come out again. That is the goal, is to get everything taken care of down here and then mate them, and they're just married for life. But all that will probably be in the next video, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. A little bit of fabrication stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell to get the notifications. I'll see you guys next time.